Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our Honey Jam pod. We are your hosts, Jessica.
And Janice.
I'm kind of laughing right now because Spake is a bully and she's laughing at us, but it's all good.
Why are you laughing?
I don't know. Why are you laughing?
I'm just laughing because I don't know. It got so insecure right now.
The intro is always a little oseke, and I'm
yes.
sorry, guys. I feel a little stiff in the intro, but, you know, I'm hoping to get used to it. But anyways, Janice, you want to introduce our guest for today?
Yes, today's guest. One of them is a familiar face, and she does not want to be here right now, but we forced her to be here.
Literally forced her.
Yes. And then the other is new, and they're our good friends from college. So we've known them for more than 10 years now.
Yes.
And without further ado, here's Danielle and Sara.
Hello.
Welcome to the pod.
Welcome to the pod.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I'm sorry if we sound a little so it's like kind of weird energy right now because it is almost 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
We just had K barbecue at Jeong.
We're feeling
right?
a little full and a little tired. But we're excited to be here.
Yeah,
right?
we are. It's Jess's birthday tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
Happy birthday, Jessica.
Thank you. So we actually just had Jeong Korean barbecue. It was delicious. Shout out to Channy,
Oh, shout out.
who was our server. He treated us so well, and he was the best server.
Yeah.
And he mentioned to us that he's an avid listener of Honey Jam.
Yeah.
So here's to you.
He
Channy.
gave us so much free stuff. 서비스.
I know.
Like 2 찌개 or 찌개, 2 냉면s. Yeah, so shout out.
The essence of Korean Jeong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. So, Spake, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello. My name is Sarah. What am I supposed to say here?
Just anything.
Also, I just want to say I was laughing in the beginning because it just suddenly started, and I didn't know where to look or what to do. And I looked next to me, and Danielle was also doing the same thing, just nodding and smiling. I was like, what am I supposed to do?
We did kind of start abruptly.
No, because we were just talking, and all of a sudden, hi guys.
We're kind of doing this a little effortlessly right now
Yes.
because they're really our close friends.
Yes.
Usually, when we have our guests, we brief them, we give them an outline.
That's true.
We want to make them feel as comfortable as possible.
Like an agenda.
You give your guests agendas?
We started to after you.
Wow, we have no agenda right now.
Well, it's because it's such a casual conversation, just continuing from dinner, the conversations.
Yes.
And just sharing some of our memories from college. Spake, I'll introduce you, okay? She is an occupational therapist. She works with children, so she's really good with children. And even before dinner, Hui was here hanging out with us, and Spake, she worked today, but she still played with Hui the entire time.
Yes.
Towards the end, I tapped out, Danielle tapped out, and she was still stuck with Hui and just playing with him joyfully.
Yes.
But shout out to Jess. It's her everyday life. So,
No, but
in that couple hours, I could help her a little bit.
Aw, Spake. And she, the point was she was doing it very joyfully.
Yes.
She didn't seem tired at all.
Yeah.
And she kept going to Hui, kept playing with him. But Hui loves Dan for some reason.
Hui always goes to Danielle.
Yes, Hui loves Danielle.
He'll just be laughing while she's just talking to Josh.
Yes.
He'll be staring at her and just smiling when Danielle's not even paying attention to Hui.
And Danielle's just she has so much yoyu. She's like, "Yep, you love me." And
I love Hui though.
Aw, Dan. So Hui has the best emos, and
Yeah.
we're very blessed to
That's
have
right.
Spake, Danielle, and shout out to Esther. She is actually moving today.
We miss you, Esther.
We miss you, Esther. We wish you were here. But that's our kind of like our crew, right?
Yeah. So Danielle, Sarah, and Esther. Actually, in senior year, we all lived together except Danielle. Danielle was supposed to be part of our apartment.
Yeah.
But that's kind of she was our honorary roommate. And that's how we really bonded our friendship, bond got stronger in our friendship.
I actually argue we got closer after college.
Me and Dan.
No, just our group.
Our group.
Don't you think so?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't remember
Why do I feel like you're saying this directly to Jess?
I don't remember
Only
being
to Jess.
close to Jess.
Oh yeah.
in college.
No, we had that one incident. Remember?
the bridesmaid?
Yes.
What
That's a
happened?
funny story.
She didn't know she was gonna be a bridesmaid.
Well,
or not?
I would when Jessica was gonna get married. When did you get married? How far out of college?
I got married when I was 25.
Yes, very young.
Yeah. So I was 4 years out of college.
Oh, that's kind of very much after.
Yeah, that's why I was so offended by you.
Oh, but then you got engaged a year before. So
Oh,
it's like
I got
maybe-
engaged almost 2 years
Yeah,
before.
so it's like maybe
Yeah.
Oh,
2.5
yeah.
years
Like
a
out
year
of
and a half,
college.
yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
what
yeah.
was
It
the
was
situation?
It was like a year after college. Jessica got engaged, and Jessica's like, thinking of bridesmaids and stuff. But we were like close, yes, but we were not like I feel like now close.
yeah.
And then I didn't want Jessica to feel like she needed to feel like I needed to be her bridesmaid.
Okay.
So I told her gotta oh Jess, what did I say?
You said, am I invited to the
wedding?"
wedding?
Oh yeah. Like, Jess, am I invited to the wedding? And I felt like in asking that, it's like even if I'm invited,
Yeah.
I'll be thankful.
I see.
You
You,
don't
you
need
didn't want to
to-
give me like pudam
Yes,
or any pressure.
to feel like
Yeah.
I needed to be a bridesmaid.
Okay.
And you were offended by that.
And I was like,
question.
I was thinking you'd be my bridesmaid.
Yeah. I was like,
I still
oh.
remember that.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
you know what's even funnier? We said that and we're like laughing about it, and Janice did not understand what was happening even then. Do you guys remember that?
I know.
She's like, wait, what's going on? What does your question mean, Dan? I don't get it. She was like so confused by her question, and she wasn't understanding the situation. But
No,
anyways.
and then after we explained it again, she said, "Okay, I get it." And then like 2 seconds later, Janice, do you really get it? No, I really don't understand what's happening.
and even now, she's like, wait, what happened?
typical Janice.
Yeah. So these girls have seen us, from way back then,
Mm-hmm.
and our friendship is still going strong. And every dinner, every meetup we have, I always have to end it with, I'm so thankful for you guys, so thankful that because it's like really rare these days to have such close friends from college. So yeah, I'm thankful.
Yeah.
There's 3 things Janice always says. It's we're gonna play all night. It's guys, like we need to keep this forever. And like, what's the 3rd thing? She
Like,
also
guys,
said?
I'm so thankful
Yeah.
for you guys.
Those are the 3 things she
Guys,
always.
can I
says.
just say something?
It's always she starts.
Wow.
Can I just say something? And then she always says we're staying up all night, and then we're like, "Girl, you sleep at 10 p.m. I don't know what you're talking about."
We call her the 10 p.m. fairy.
Yes.
But I realized also we didn't talk about what Danielle does
Oh yeah.
in our
Oh,
previous
yeah,
episode,
yeah.
which actually was very popular.
Very popular episode. Yep.
Danielle, she is a school psychologist.
Psychologist.
I always want to say psychologist, and also working with children.
What
Yes.
is that?
It's where she meets with students with special needs. You mainly work with kids with special needs.
I like to compare it to like a criminal like psychologist.
Uh-huh.
They like look at the clues and they like try to find patterns and like use that information to like solve what happened, why did this happen. And that's kind of like what we do like at school when kids have like academic or behavior problems. We try to figure out like why is this happening? Like what like patterns do we see? Like and what can we do to like help them succeed at school?
Awesome.
It's a great job.
I will say you are very passionate about it.
Yes.
And it's really cool to see. Because I remember when you were starting grad school, that's when like Jess and I were kind of done.
Yeah.
And we were like
Oh, yeah,
lost
yeah,
the
yeah.
fiery passion
Yeah, for sure.
for helping people.
Yeah, really. Every time I text with Dan, she really enjoys what she does. I could tell, and she really wants to help her students. And 그럴 때마다 I feel very challenged because I don't. I'm just kidding.
You do.
I feel very jaded, throughout my years of working.
Yes.
And I'm sure you relate, Spake, right?
Yeah.
Spake kind of had like we call her Spake, but Spake doesn't want to be called Spake.
Yeah.
That's
We're
her college
Too late.
nickname.
You guys already called me that like 3 times on the show.
Spake as in Sarah Pake.
Sarah Pake. Yeah.
Sarah.
Yeah.
She had a phase where she was like, maybe OT isn't for me.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that a little bit, Spake?
I
For
still
for
feel
our
that all the time.
listeners, for our listeners who may be pursuing occupational therapy or they're in this job or not even occupational therapy, but like they feel like a little bit stagnant, in their
In their
positions.
jobs, yeah.
Walk us through what your
what
mentality
happened?
was. Yeah.
Well, I just think it just wasn't what I expected it to be. I think what I imagined it to be was like helping a lot of people. Like, it's just when you learn about OT, like you don't learn about the reality of the world and what the healthcare is like. So it's just very different than what I imagined it to be. And I think because like up until that point I was only a student, it was my first like career job.
Yeah.
I think it was a little bit like a little like awakening for me, like a moment when I'm like, whoa, working is hard. Yeah. And I think like during that time, it was also when COVID happened for me. So it was like tough trying to navigate being an OT during COVID, and then also like wondering if it's what I wanted to keep doing. And then so I like dabbled into like tech a little bit to see if I wanted to.
There was like a tech craze.
Yeah,
and then event planning.
Oh yeah, and event planning. I did like some
yeah.
weddings. Like I tried to dabble into all these other things, but in the end, like I think it was just. I feel like a part of it was my initial going into a career, like realizing like, oh, it's not just OT that's hard. Every job is hard.
Yes.
And I think it's just, you know, for me, it was like, do I still like it at the end of the day? I'll say about like 60% of the time. It depends on my boss really, but that's like most jobs, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it
Oh, yeah,
depends
for
it
sure.
depends on your boss. So yeah, I think for right now, I enjoy doing it. I love working with kids and I can't imagine not doing what I do. So yeah.
And you're so good at it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right, but like parents love you.
Yes.
Like your bosses love you.
For the most part, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah.
Spake is just a natural, you know, like
Yes.
she knows how to deal with kids, not only play with them and have the kids like her, but she knows how to like actually work with them and help them.
Yeah.
You know, that's why whenever she hangs out with me, I'm like, thank you for the free OT session.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
I mean, all three of you guys are like therapists in some form, right? And changing and affecting many lives. So whenever I hear you guys talking, like when we're hanging out, like these three will always have like a conversation about, you know, how like a meeting went. And I don't know what's going on, but I'm like, dude, respect. Switching gears a little bit. Danielle and Spake are two of our non-married friends, right? So I always want to ask this question, right? At our age, there aren't many single men out there, right? Like your standards get higher, and like it feels
pool
harder.
feels smaller as
yes,
well.
the pool feels smaller.
Yeah.
So I always say like you have to be willing to give up one quality. There's always three, right? And you can't get it all. So it's height, tall, good looking, or 능력 있어, like has potential to be successful, right? Of those three, you have to give up one.
Oh.
I feel like it's really rare these days to find a single man who has all three.
Oh.
Looks,
Why is heights a part of?
Yeah.
Heights is for
Whose
Janice.
three is this?
I know, I've never heard this three
Well,
before.
like, isn't it easily like you would take out height?
yeah.
I don't.
Oh, you
I don't
wouldn't-
think. I
would it
don't-
be
Well,
looks?
well, I would understand why some people would say like height is more important than looks.
Oh, for you it would be height for
Well,
sure.
I'm a short girl, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like shorter than you.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I don't think there's that many guys shorter than me.
Well, that's the height. That's the height. Or your height.
How tall are you, Spake?
I'm 5'1". On a good day.
On a good day?
a good day. How about average height? Average height is
Okay.
good. No, yeah.
What's the
Average height is like, 5'5".
5'5"?
5'5"?
Okay, yeah.
Oh.
That's a lot shorter than I thought you
Yeah.
would want, actually. Because I thought you liked tall guys.
But
Spake-
you're asking me to give one up, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
I'll give up the height.
height.
So
Yeah, me too.
Short king, good looking, and successful.
That sounds like Dio to me.
EXO deal.
Would you say your husband has all three?
Height, good looking, successful. Yeah.
Would you say your husband is healthy?
Absolutely.
This kind of reminded me of something, but Dan, didn't you like have a dream once where you like saw your future husband?
Oh,
or
yeah,
something?
she did.
Can you talk about that?
I mean, I don't have all the detail, but yes, I did have a dream.
Yes.
And I did see someone. I did take someone to meet my parents.
Yes.
And we were like talking, and it was very like comfortable.
And you said you like saw the details of his face and
yes,
everything.
yes.
So if we showed a picture of the
So
guy,
you know, I
can
don't know.
Recognize it?
I don't know, but like
But
I
there
do.
was a face.
But there was a face. There was a face, and it was kind of like weird because usually in my dreams there's never like a complete look,
Right.
You know. But yeah, there was a face.
And it wasn't like anyone you knew.
No.
It was like a random
No.
person.
Wow.
Yeah,
Crazy.
and he was short.
Oh, okay.
When you think about that dream, like do you kind of get 설레? Like your heart flutters?
No, I was very like, why? I was like, I don't want this to be my husband.
You don't want this to be your husband.
It was
because he was short?
No, I was like, oh, what was that?
Like you woke up thinking like, what? Wait.
That's not my
Oh.
husband. But it did feel like in that dream, it really felt like this was gonna be my future husband.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow, I've never had a
It
dream
was
like that
very
before.
weird.
You know, that also reminds me. Do you guys know the YouTuber like Wee Raku?
Oh,
Park Wee. Oh, you don't know? Okay, so he's like this YouTuber. Basically, he got into like a huge accident in his like adulthood, and now he's like paralyzed and he's on a wheelchair. But he is marrying the secret girl and a K-pop idol named
Jin,
Jin.
right?
Yeah.
I love
So
them.
pretty.
And they're both like very faithful Christians, and they met at 새벽기도, like early morning prayer.
Yeah.
But then their video actually got really popular. They talk about like how they met, like their first impressions of each other. And he was saying, or she was saying, the Jiun secret girl was saying she always prayed for her future husband. And she said like she just prayed like, oh, you know, like just very casually. It's not like, oh, like Lord, please grant me, you know, with this man. But it was more like, you know, whatever at what whatever timing, can you just like let me know that it's him? Like, can I just feel that? Like, can I just know it with all my heart that this is my future husband?
Yeah.
And she said the moment that we came in with his wheelchair and she saw him, she felt her heart like opening up. And like she just like knew, like
Wow.
she was like very curious about him, and she just like was like, oh, I really want to talk to this guy. And she said it was to the point where she was like, oh, I think this is God answering my prayers.
Oh my god.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So 그냥 반했대.
And
they
now
both
they're married.
they're engaged.
Oh, they're engaged.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
They're a beautiful couple.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
is he pretty too?
He's handsome.
Very
Yeah,
handsome.
he's
It's really unfortunate because I highly recommend. I guess this is my 강추 a little bit early, but his YouTube channel is called Miracle, like miracle, but his name is Wee, like Hui, but Park Wee. And he got into an accident right before he started his new job because he was celebrating with his friends and they were congratulating him on the new job. He got butt drunk and he fell between two buildings. Yeah.
From like the roof?
Yes, the night before, like, or the night celebrating his, like, you know, 취직,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
getting hired.
But now they live like such a holy, wholesome life.
Yeah, and they love each other so
Yeah.
much. So it is possible, everyone. Pray for your significant other.
Yeah. And maybe they will show up in your dream.
Yeah.
Do you do that? Do you pray for your
My mom
Husband?
prays for my husband every day. She tells me every day. Sometimes it's like, you know, we eat together and she's always like, let's pray. I'm like, okay. So she prays for the meal. Then literally we're thanking God for the food. She goes, and Lord, please listen to my prayers. Like, send Sarah a husband. A husband who was like Boaz. It's always the same prayer. Boaz 같은 남편. I'm like, Mom, this prayer is getting sold. I just want to eat my meal now. But every single meal we eat together, she has to add that.
That's so Korean.
Yeah.
Now
it
it's
is.
different. Now it's like, oh, now that Lord, please bless her relationship with her boyfriend. Like, let him be the one. Like, I don't know. It's like her prayer is a little different now.
The power of prayer from like, especially like our Korean parents.
Yes.
Feels different.
Yes, because they fully believe,
Yeah.
and as we should too, in prayer. But like, you know, and she knows as someone who's already been married, like that you finding a husband is like the most
Yeah.
important like thing. And like if you do that, then everything else is probably gonna be good. So you know, that's nice of you. My mom doesn't pray for that.
Really?
She like not out loud. To
Does
me.
she ever tell you like, oh, like 남자친구, like,
Yeah,
are
she
you
asks me all the
dating?
time.
Oh, she does.
Yeah.
Oh, so she is very much interested.
너한테 관심 있는 남자 없어?
There's no one interested in you.
Yeah.
She says that.
Yeah.
Mm.
I was like, no, ma. And the one time I said yes, just for fun. And she got really excited. And I felt really bad because, you know, I lied.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You lied.
I didn't correct her.
Just to like make her happy.
Yeah. Or no, just to like see, because, you know, I just said no all the time.
Oh.
And then it was really sad.
Oh.
Okay, my mom would always be like, oh, I really want grandkids.
Oh, yeah.
She would
Like
jump 0 to
skipping,
100.
yeah.
0 to 100. I'm like, whoa, where's
Can I,
grandkids coming from?
like, get married first?
Yeah. Sometimes we're watching TV. She goes, 하나님, 저희 외손자들 어디 있어요?
Lord, where are my grandchildren?
Like 하나님, like we're literally watching TV.
Yeah. Like
All of us
casually.
just like casual, like
Yeah.
God, where is Sarah's husband?
Hey friends, it's Janice and Jess here, and we're going to take a quick Honey Jammies break to talk about getting cozy this fall with Cozy Earth.
Yes, we love their stretch knit long sleeve pajama set. As a mom, these are my absolute favorite. When I'm finally getting some me time at night, I need something soft, breathable, and cute.
Yeah, and you look so good in them, Jess.
Oh, thanks, Janice.
They're perfect for staying comfy and looking put together. Let's not forget their Luxe bath sheets. These towels legit feel like those towels at 5 5-star hotels. They're so soft and absorbent, and you'll want to take an extra long shower just to use them.
Yes, a total game changer. I'm living in these pajamas and loving the towels.
So if you want to treat yourself this fall, head to cozyearth.com/honeyjam and use the code HONEYJAM for up to 40% off.
Whether it's the pajamas, towels, or even their bed sheets, you're gonna love Cozy Earth just as much as we do.
And when you get that post-purchase survey, don't forget to mention you heard about Cozy Earth from your favorite podcast, Honey Jam.
All right, Honey Jammies out.
That was
Wow,
our ad.
I want to buy one too.
No, for reals though, Spic, do you want to buy it?
I really do.
Right? It's
Can I get the
40%
code?
off is pretty
That's
good,
pretty
right?
good, yeah. I love pajamas.
I mean, we have it right here. These are the towels.
It's the first brand that it has ever given us a chance, like their first chance.
Seriously.
Yeah, so-
And it's so wholesome.
We were so excited.
Yeah.
And it's like good quality,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
So we're very thankful.
That's
Yeah.
right. So please purchase something on the site with our discount code because it's friggin' awesome. I forgot I was going to talk about this when we were talking about Spake playing with Hui so well, right? Danielle and I were so shocked because Jess would start singing a song, like a kid's song.
Yeah.
And then Spake would just complete the next sentence of the song.
Yeah.
And Danielle and I were like, what? What is
How
this
do you
song?
know
Like,
this
how do you
song?
know
They're
this?
baby songs.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have a baby.
I just want to say it's part of my job to do this because you cannot keep 2-year-olds entertained if you don't sing everything.
One little duck.
Went out one day over the hills and far away.
Never
Wow.
Mama duck said, quack.
Open.
Shut them. Open, shut them.
Have you heard of that song?
I've never heard of these songs.
All the moms are probably like, dude, these noobs don't know these songs.
What kind of like OT do you do with babies?
Oh. Sorry, is that an earthquake?
No.
No, it's a train. I live by the train station.
I thought it
You
was
know
an
what's so
earthquake. I was
funny?
like, why is no one reacting? I was like, oh.
Just
Oh,
lives
that's crazy.
right by a train station.
Yes.
So it, like when a train goes by, it literally shakes up the ground.
Yes, dude, sometimes when there's an actual earthquake, I'm just going like this because I think it's a train.
Wait, so you guys
my
all work
favorite
with
age.
different ages then,
Yeah.
huh?
Yes, very much. Yeah.
Elementary, high school,
Early intervention.
before 3.
Middle high school, middle and high school.
On this topic, right? Like Danielle, you know, you're pretty new because you just graduated and like you have a full-time job. So I feel like a lot happened, like
Yeah.
just you know, going into your new school and stuff like that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I'm definitely in one of my campuses the only Asian female. The first day I went, there's these 2 security guards, and like one of them came up to me. He's like, "Oh, like welcome back." And I was like, "Thank you." Like, and then I walked a little bit, and there's another female security guard, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And she gave me a hug, and I was
Never
like,
seen her.
I've never seen her in my life. But I was like, "Oh my god, people are so welcoming here." But she gave me a hug, but it was a little like weird. I'm like rewinding back to the guy who just said like "welcome back," and I was like, she's like, "Oh, you're back," and then I was like, "It's my first day," and then she's like, "Oh my god, wait, are you sure?" And I was like, "Yes," and then I like went to my like coworker and I was like, do I have a twin at this school? She's like, "Oh, like no," but she was Korean and her name was like Miss Lim or something, and then she quit like 2 years ago because like one of our like special education students kept calling her Ling Ling.
Oh, no.
And she's like, like Ling Ling, Miss Ling Ling, la, la, la. And then she like, I guess ended up crying, and then all the other students made fun of her for crying. So for the rest of the year, I guess like everyone called her like Ling Ling, and like she just I think felt like she was no longer like effective at that school, so she quit. And then I'm sure like, you know, people heard and like, and I think that's why they were so like happy to see who they thought was Miss Lim come back. Like, I'm so glad you're back. Like, you know, it'll be better this time. So like my coworker was like, "Hey, just brace yourself." Like, because like some of these kids have never met like an Asian person, you know? And so I got really, choraso. And like, and they're high school kids, so they're big, you know? And
You were
then
scared?
a little bit. I'm like, fudge. Like, what if they make me cry? You know, we cry a lot. So I was like, dude, I could definitely see myself cry. But then I was like, but they're just kids. And then I met them, and they're so like, there are a couple who are kind of like a little suspicious, like Like, oh, are you here to stay? Like, who are you? Why are you asking me? Like, I have many students, like, the second they saw me, they're like, I don't want to be here. But then none of them have been, like, racist to me. None of them are mean to me.
They respect you.
It's not, like, respect, but it's more like, okay, you're cool. Like,
oh, you've been accepted.
yes, a little bit.
That you gained their trust.
A little bit at a time.
You built rapport.
Yes.
The
Yes.
buzzwords.
Yes. And
Rapport.
it's really nice.
Yeah.
Like, I had a kid. He was on his laptop the whole time. But I was like, name, like, please put your laptop away.
Yeah.
Just for like 10 minutes. And then he, like, very distracted on his laptop. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna ask you one more time. And then he's on his laptop. So I was like, all right, Nate, I'm gonna put the laptop here. And then I put it there. He's like, you broke my computer. I was like, how did I break your computer? He's like, you smacked it. I was like, do you make up stuff like this in class? He's like, all the time. I was like, all the time. I said, well, thank you for being honest. Your computer is working very fine. But it's like, I think, like, kids, they like to test people.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've gotten kind of over that. Where, like, the kids who don't like me just don't like me. And I feel like that's not on me. That's just, they have stuff to work through. And then, the kids that like me.
I was actually going to bring up, like, I felt a little bit of microaggression in my career. Because especially, like, during meetings with parents, maybe it's because I'm Asian. Maybe it's because I'm an Asian woman. And maybe because I look younger. There's always just, like, a little bit of, like, condescending kind of vibes to me and, like, another particular psychologist who's happens to be Korean and around the same age as me. So, like recently I was part of this meeting and this parent was really upset already, but she was just attacking me and the psychologist,
The Asian girls,
and then to, like, the principal, to the teachers, to, like, everyone else who were white. Like, they were, like, very nice and I don't know, just, like, it's like a different tone and it's, like, only something that we can feel, like that microaggression, and I was like, maybe I'm being sensitive, but I brought it up to the other psychologist. I was like, hey, do you ever feel like we're kind of like the ones who are being singled out? She's like, I feel that all the time in my meetings, and I think it's because, like, maybe I look younger than everyone else, maybe because we're Asian, but, like, it's really hard. And I just, like, I felt so sad. Like, why do we have to always, like, we're so nice to the parents and during the meetings, we're so respectful. But the fact that, like, they're treating us that way, it's like, it's so unfair.
I feel the exact same thing. Like, it's a little condescending.
Yeah.
Like, they talk to me a little differently.
Yes.
And I really felt it because we got a new special education teacher. And he's, like, this, like, really tall black ajashi. And the way they welcome him is so different. Like, and it's, like, so interesting because I don't get it from the kids. But I get all of these, like, from the adults.
Yeah.
And it's, like, and, like, she warned me about, like, the kids. But I was like, dude,
it's not
I
the
feel it
kids.
it's
more, yeah.
the adults.
Oh.
Like, yeah. And, like, and it's, like, stuff I'm pretty sure they don't even fully are
Exactly.
aware of.
Yeah.
But they just do it subconsciously.
That's why it's like microaggression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is really... I'm gonna cry.
Dude, I felt like crying when I brought it up to the other psychologist. I really felt like crying because I thought I was being sensitive, but I realized it's kind of like a shared emotion and feeling, like it's
I don't
very
think
real.
I've ever
like processed it.
said it out loud. Yeah.
It's true.
Cut.
I'm like, why do I feel this weird feeling, And, like, you just learn to swallow it and sweep it under the rug because it's just, like, you just move on. Yeah. But then when I decided to verbalize it, I was like, I felt very emotional, kind of like how Dan is feeling right now, just because, like, it's so 억울해. I don't know what that word is, but it's like you have done nothing. It's unfair. You have done nothing except work hard and try to contribute to the meeting and try to help the kids. And all you're received is like, this condescending, like, microaggression, So, But then, there's nothing you could do about it. And I do want to say, like, school is also kind of like very old school. It's like, it's still very like the same way when we went to school. You know what I mean? Like, there's like, everything is done like very old school. The people there, they're like veterans. You know what I mean? A lot of teachers who have been there for a long time. So it's like very much stuck in like still like the olden ways. So I'm sure like things like that is like still rampant. And yeah.
That's why we have this new generation of therapists,
I know.
educators.
Yeah.
And you guys are going to make a change.
I'll say that always pisses me off though. Like,
You feel it too.
I personally don't, because I work one-on-one with parents, and so like I don't know how you guys work in schools. Like, God bless you guys. Like, anyone who works in the school system, I feel like it's extra hard because it's so political. Like, there's a whole system that you have to know. You have to know that culture of that school, and like the principal is important and all of that.
And you work in a clinic.
I actually do in-home. So I am in a clinic, but I mostly go to kids' homes and I do
Oh, I
therapy
didn't know
there.
that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's in the child's natural environment that I insert myself and I work. So a lot of times parents are very grateful. They ask me a lot of questions, and I feel like 0 to 3 is a very like confusing time for a lot of times they're new parents too.
Yes.
So they depend on you.
So
a
they
lot.
depend on me. So I feel like I personally don't experience that in work,
Yeah.
but I feel like all Asian women have felt that before.
Oh,
It's the
yes.
fact that we are Asian and the fact that we are women that they think they can like talk down to you.
Yes.
Or like treat you a certain way, or like, but that's why I always try to be that loud, annoying, like person who talks and stands up for themselves. Like, people might say like, oh, you're like being too much, but I'm like, why is it too much if an Asian woman does it? Just because you expect like Asian women to be like, oh, sorry, oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Like, even like small things, like, why do I have to always be the one stepping out of the way for you to walk past me? Like, we just say, oh, sorry, excuse me, we just stare at each other.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I've done that before. Like, there was like,
I'm not moving.
who's gonna
Squaring
go,
up.
we're just staring at each other like, oh.
Dang.
Wow.
I'm not as aggressive like that
Yeah.
anymore, but when I was younger, at least, for sure,
Lots of
I
anger.
think because I grew up in Downey, where I had a lot of rage in my younger days. Now it's a lot died down now that I'm older, but hearing your guys' story, I'm just like, it just really makes me upset, because you guys bring so much value and you're helping the children, so you're not there to like cause any harm or anything.
Yeah.
They don't have to talk to you
Yeah.
in that way, so
It's way too
Like I
common.
said, yeah, it's a very micro.
Yes.
It's like there is not something overt where like they're
Yes.
being mean.
Yeah.
And you can't like call them out for something.
I
Like, for
can't. I
tiny-
probably
so
I
small.
can, but also I'm Asian, so I won't.
Oh.
Like, it's not worth it to me.
did you ever feel that, Jan?
I mean,
In your
me,
workplace?
I mean, no, not like you guys. When I worked at like ABC, predominantly white company, and like in the room, there's only like 2 non-white people. It's me and another Asian girl, and I don't know. I'm first of all just not good with non-Koreans, right? Not even Asians. I'm just not good with other people. I just feel very insecure, and then I would like develop an accent, almost like I felt like I was becoming more Asian in that setting. Yeah.
Like an Asian accent?
Yeah, like almost like, why am I turning fobby in this situation? And
I
I
feel like I
think
know
it's
what
just
you mean.
because I
Yeah.
felt so small,
Yeah.
like in the sea of white people.
Yeah.
It did feel a little bit different the way they treated me. Like, oh, you're so cute Asian girl. You know, I'm like,
I hate that too. Oh my god, cute little age. Sorry.
and then my response is just like, you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna go. Okay, right now it is currently almost 11 o'clock.
Oh my god. Okay. We gotta do our Kangchu.
We need to go into our corner. This is our
Kangchu
corner.
Yes.
Do you have kangchus for us, ladies?
Yes, my Kangchu is, I feel like a lot of people are already watching it, but I've been really into this Netflix show. So I don't really like cooking shows.
Yeah.
But this is like one of the few cooking shows that I'm really into. It's
So
the
fun.
one with Baek Jong-won.
So fun.
What's called Culinary Wars or
Culinary
something.
Chef Wars. or
Class
something.
Wars, something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's on Netflix. It's so interesting.
fun.
And I never really thought about, I mean, when I eat food, it's either good or bad. But the way they describe food, I'm like, wow, how do you think of these words to describe the food? And I think I really like it when people just really know a lot of their craft. And like the two judges, they know food so well. So it's like really like interesting to see how they interpret like what they're seeing and what they're tasting and stuff. So that one's really fun.
So
highly recommend.
I'm
that
so
one.
into it right
bingeable.
now.
So you like it because the judges do such a good job judging.
That too, but also the food looks very
Oh.
interesting. Yeah, and then you start liking some of the chefs that are on the
Yeah.
show.
I was gonna say, I think the concept of it is very interesting because basically it's like the underdog chefs who have like, you know, kind of started from the bottom, and like, I mean, all of them did, but it's like there are chefs who are already successful, they're very well known, very respected, versus like these 20 chefs who are like just starting out and like they're very talented, but they're like underdogs.
Yeah.
So it's, I think the Korean like title is 흑백 요리사.
Yodisa, yeah.
So it's like, you know, like golden spoon versus
Which spoon are you?
yeah, silver spoon versus you know, whatever spoon, right?
Yeah.
So like even the judges, like they kind of represent that. One is like fine dining chef. One is like kind of like, you know, restaurant like chain, and like he knows like the taste of the public, you know. So it's like it kind of like represents those two
That's
opposing
true.
sides. And like it's very interesting because you find yourself like rooting for the underdog chefs, but at the same time like you realize like how talented the already successful chefs are, and like they've worked really hard to be where they're at. So like it's I love it because it's like everybody is so talented, everybody works so hard, and they're so passionate about their craft. So it's just like a friendly, really like respectable competition.
And I also like that the underdogs, there's so many different types of
Yes.
chefs.
Yes.
You have like the cafeteria lady.
Yes.
You have like YouTubers. You have Austin King,
Yeah.
which is so random.
You're so
Very
whack.
random.
You never started, Danielle? I don't think
Dude,
Okay, well,
Danielle, you
you
would
would
love
love it.
it.
You
I
for
have
sure.
heard great things
Yeah.
about
Yes,
this show.
it's so
everyone's
fun.
Kangchu these days.
It's really good.
So for me, like viral like clips of it kept like circulating
Yeah.
in my feed, and like I didn't understand the context. So like when everyone was like commenting on it and like sending to each other, I didn't, even that impression that you posted to the comedian, I didn't understand the context. So I was like, why is everyone so into this? And Josh and I decided to start it. We were like hooked.
Today, Josh and Jess fought, and then on the phone, Josh was like, "I'm gonna watch the show without you," and Jess was
I was
like,
like, you better not. It was a legit threat.
"Ladies, thank you so much for coming on. I know this was super last minute, and you know, I think the audience will be able to feel that Jess and I were feeling a little more lax today. But you know." Any last words? How was it? How was it like to be on the Honey Jam podcast for the second time, Danielle, and then for the first time for you, Speak?
I guess I would just like to say, after the first one, I gave Janice a little feedback. I told her I wanted to talk about my crime stories, and I would if
Wait,
I
can
came
we
back.
actually talk about
No, too late. And I would just like to say, we finished recording, and I still did not get to talk about my crime stories.
wait, can
So
we actually talk
there
about it?
we go.
Danielle?
It's how I feel,
I feel-
as my second coming here for the second time.
Two things
I
she
again-
requested.
Balance scheme and crime stories.
Is I never get to do what I want as a guest, and I feel like just give me a second. I feel like you give so much respect to your not so close friend guests, and you just treat me like whatever you want, dude.
Wait, no, sorry. I'm sorry. It's really because I couldn't find like a connection somehow, and we got really deep into education. You know, talking about that. You were crying. How was Danielle? Can you talk about your crime stories all of a sudden?
Hey, come on.
But you
Ben.
know, we should talk about it.
No, it's so late. Okay, I'll share one. I'll share one.
Okay.
It was October 8th, 2020.
Wow. You remember the date?
It was 2 days before Esther's October 10th, 2020 wedding.
Wow.
And I had, we're all bridesmaids.
Yeah.
So we had to wear a dress. So it's very, like, every time I go on, like, a very restrictive diet, my parents just know I have a wedding coming up. But anyway, so for, like 3 weeks, I had only been eating salads. And, like, I was very himopso. Like, I've only been eating salads. In October, I had 2 days left for this wedding. And I was, like, walking to school. Like, I was walking to my bus stop, and like I saw this homeless man.
Oh, no.
And I just knew something felt off. Like, he's clearly unstable, but at the time we're like, homeless people, they're not all bad. Like, they're just unfortunate people. And I was like, I'm not gonna discriminate because this guy's homeless. And I looked at him, I was like, and I just started walking. I was just walking, and then all of a sudden, this homeless man, he like turns his body and he smacks me in the face, and then like my AirPods fell out, like my ears were like ringing, and I was like, oh my gosh. And it was crazy because the only thing I thought of was I'm gonna die, and my last meal was a salad, and I was so upset. And I was like, and after that, I never went on restricted diets again.
I don't remember the salad part of the story.
And I was like, so after class that day, I had McDonald's because I was like, it's so stupid of me to think like I'll be alive, you know? And I feel like I make these comments a lot. Like, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna live that long. And it's because, you know, all these things happen to me. But anyways, that was definitely a very turning point in my life.
In regards to your dieting?
Yeah. But it was very like, it was like the first thing I thought of after that is like, did no one see that?
Yeah.
And I got so angry.
That no one helped.
No, that I couldn't chase after this guy because I was scared something worse might happen. Like, I hated that, like, I was like this girl and like I felt like I couldn't fight more for myself because I felt like this was like the best way it could have ended, you know? And he was like laughing and he was just like walked off,
He was
you
just
know?
crazy.
But he was very unstable. But anyways, that was wild.
Yeah.
It was 4 p.m. It was broad daylight on Vermont, which is a huge street. And so, yeah, that was
That's insane.
I
It
mean,
wasn't
the-
even in the evening or like
no
when it was dark.
Yeah, it was very bright.
Girl, oh
And
my
I was
God.
so confused as to how nobody saw. And it just made me think like so many things happen.
Yeah.
And like nobody, you don't know,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah.
I mean, there's so many things that happen. Just briefly, like
and then didn't someone come to say hi to you?
oh yeah.
oh, that was something else. That was something
Oh, that
else.
was a different story.
Yeah, that was a different story.
my
Yes,
How-
yes.
These stories like
like
are connected now.
Danielle
I
got
can't
her
even
phone
differentiate.
jacked.
Oh yeah.
Someone-
like literally.
Yeah,
She
like,
almost
stole from her
got
phone.
killed by a car.
Yeah, you got run over by a car almost. Someone was doing something very inappropriate in a bus. The list goes on and on. I think it's
So many
because
stories.
you
The
used
homeless
to
guy,
take-
he got in my Uber with me.
What?
And the
The
Uber
one who
driver.
slapped you?
No.
This is a separate occasion.
This is the one where Guppy said hi and then I
I
cried.
see.
Yeah. So my sister, I went out. I was leaving for work, and my sister was at the gate, and there's this like really tall guy who was like I could tell bothering her, and like I don't know why I felt like I had to be like strong, and then I said like get in, and then like I made sure she like went up, but my sister is a lot less fearful than I am.
Oh.
So actually it was better she was handling it. But then after she went in, I realized it's just me and him. And he started following me like because I was waiting for my Uber and I was supposed to stay in, but because like my sister was outside, I had gone out. And then I was waiting for my Uber to come. So I try to like go to the big streets and stuff, but I can't go that far because it's coming to
Yeah.
the location.
Yeah. And he was following you?
Yes, he was following me and he was like asking me for like my social very unstable too. He's like asking me for my social security number, like let me see your driver's license, and I was like, please just stay away.
Yeah.
But you know, inside I'm dying.
Scared.
Yeah. And then he was just like really close to me.
Oh my God.
And then I was very like, oh my God, where is my Uber? And then I got in my Uber. And at the time there was like Uber Pool. So it was Uber Pool. So like someone was already in the car. And then I went around the car and I got in. But I got in, I saw that he had gotten in the car. And then I told the driver he is not with me. So the driver had to ask him to get out of the car. He wouldn't get out of the car. And he was just like this. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then like the driver was able to like pull him out of the car. But anyways, I got dropped off. I was obviously very shaken up. I got dropped off in front of my building, and then there was a friend named Guppy who we're not friends, but we're like good acquaintances, and like we had just learned that we like work in the same building, and like I don't think he ever said hi 1st, you know? And I got out of the car and he was trying to be friendly, but he kind of like scared me. He's like, hi. And then I looked at him. I started crying. And the Guppy was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Because you're already like shook.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
He
yes.
caught you at a wrong time.
Yes, yes. I was like, I'm so sorry. But so he never said hi to me after that again. So it was really, I felt really bad because he like, you know, like he was nice enough to like say hi
Yeah.
first, but it was just wrong day,
Yeah.
wrong time, wrong way.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
I will say I was also told I'll be talking about certain things, but none of those topics came up. In fact, I don't even know.
What topics?
We're supposed to talk about dating, and she asked, "What's it like dating in your 30s?" And we completely skipped past it.
Can you tell us one dating story? Like your most interesting dates.
You had, dude. You
I
had,
had-
yeah.
I will say I had my hand like a fair share of really bad dates.
Yeah,
I had some good ones, some decent ones, but one of the worst ones I went on was, so this was after I was dating this guy, and I really liked him, but it just didn't work out. So I was like a little heartbroken. I was like, you know what? Let me just open up the world a little bit and be open to non-Christians. So that's like when I opened up that, it was like a floodgate. There was like a lot more people out in the world, and I was like, you know what? I'll just say okay to anybody. Like anybody wants to talk and like whatever. I was just very open.
Yeah.
So one of the guys I matched with was this Filipino guy, and I never went on a date with a Filipino ever. But I was like, sure, why not? And he was like talking with me, and it was like super chill. It was like, hey, you want to grab a meal on Tuesday? And I was like, sure, whatever. I was looking at his pictures. I was like, okay, he's like not bad. Like
You were
seems
you were
okay.
open.
Yeah, I was open. So we went on the date on Tuesday. It was I specifically remember it was a really, really rainy day. And we were meeting at Rodeo 39, which is like this big like outdoor plaza or like indoor like area with lots of different foods. And I was wearing a big parka because it was raining. It was like one of those big ones that come all the way to like your knees.
Wow.
So I was just wearing that because it was cold, and I went out and I was texting him, okay, I'm here. Granted, this was after like an 8-hour day of like working with kids, so I was just like kind of tired, but I was like, okay, whatever. So I went, and he was like, oh, I'm here too. So in his description, he said he was like 5'10", and I was like, okay, whatever. So I was like looking over, and then I see some guy that looks like he was looking over, but this guy was for sure like 5'4" or 5'5", and his hair was not the same. So the pictures were really old.
Like
but he had
catfishing.
like gopsulmani, like it was curly, like like trying to be cool like that style, but it didn't look that cool.
Yeah.
And then like I see him waving over at me, and I was like, oh my god.
Like, you were hoping it wasn't
I
him.
was like, oh Lord. He was like, Sarah? And I was like, yeah. Good to see you. And like during that time, I just didn't know how to like. I was like, whatever. I'll give him a chance. Maybe it'll be good. Whatever.
Yeah.
So we get our food and we sit down, and we're like eating, but it was so awkward. It was just like he was like oh, so like why'd you like, what did he say, like why'd you come on this day? And I was like, oh, just to like meet people, blah blah blah. And I was like, how about you? He was like, same. So what color do you like? I was like,
like the conversation
yeah,
wasn't flowing
that's not
well.
the conversation when I was like, oh, I like the color like yellow. How about you? And he was like, I like blue. So are you close to your mom? Like that's how the conversation was going. And I was just like, I would answer it like, how about you? Like tried to get him to talk, and he was just like, yeah, you know how it is. So and that's just how the convo went. I was just like, I've
just
never like I think that was the longest like hour and a half of my life.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
a
I was like-
long date.
Like in the middle of the date, I literally zipped up my parka from the bottom all the way to the top as like a physical cue to him. Like, I am not interested. I am closing myself off from you. I'm ready to dip. Like, I'm ready to dip when you are. And then like he goes, so you want to see me again?
Oh my gosh.
And I was like,
Salty.
okay, I've never had anyone ask me like that. Usually they'd be like, oh, like I'd like to see you again or something.
Yeah.
So you want to see me again?
Ew.
I was like, maybe sure.
Oh my god.
Like I
too nice.
didn't know how to say like
Yeah.
no. Like how do you say no when they ask you that directly? So I was like, maybe. And he was like, so what are you doing tomorrow? I was like, I'm hanging out with my friend's baby. So that's when Patty's baby was only 2 months. So I was like, I'm hanging out with my friend's baby. And he was like, oh, how old is the baby? I was like, oh, like she's 2 months. And he was like, oh, my boy is 2 years old.
He had a kid.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Wow, that was the
Deuces.
final straw.
And that's when I was like, yeah, for sure. And I was like, wow, what just happened? It was 2 hours of my life.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
even after that conversation happened outside, because we even walked outside and kept trying to talk to me. Even when my parka was up, I mean, come on, man, have some nunchi. Like, my parka's up here. I'm like, obviously, my body's like turning away from you.
Wait, was he Korean?
No, he's Filipino.
Filipino.
Oh.
Yeah, it was my first and last
Wow.
Filipino date. Yeah.
I feel like you definitely gave a lot of chances to people, and you were
I did.
open.
I went on a
Yeah.
lot of dates. I really did. Oh, we're getting this
You
close.
guys, did you guys enjoy that episode? All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram at HoneyJamPod, and we will see you next time.
Bye.